Hey Tanner, how's it going? Thanks for coming down. So I was looking at our running totals in the month of June, and I know we kind of talked about, but we passed over 1,000,000 feet in Mesa County of conduit for you guys, and I thought that was a pretty cool talking point. I think it's definitely one of the bigger projects that this area's ever seen, and I feel like that's a big milestone for two local companies for sure.
Absolutely. I think it's amazing just what we've done in this valley and, created opportunity not only for, the residents, but the people on the job side. And it's really been unbelievable what we've been able to do over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think going back to just the local part of it, I know for us with our operation, we oversee about 80 to 100 people, with over 95% of them being local, plus all the crews that you guys have down here. So it's been a huge resource for the valley for income for families and stuff, which is awesome from two local companies' point of view, for sure.
Absolutely. We do a monthly onboarding. We onboarded 18 people last month. It's pretty wild just to see the growth of what two small companies can grow into when things hit the right groove.
Yeah, it's funny because I think we did our first job for Clearnetworx about 9 or 10 years ago. And I think at that point, Clearnetworx had 7 or 8 employees.
Yeah.
And to see what you guys have become now, and I think we had 4 employees at that time. So
Yeah.
obviously a lot of changes have happened over the last 9 or 10 years.
Yeah, it's wild. I started out being the 24th employee at Clearnetworx, and we're just over 300 at the moment. I've been there for the majority of the growth. It's just unbelievable what it does for the community, and that's one of the coolest things about Clearnetworx and what, the people that started it was doing was it started out, as just a small company that wanted to create great jobs for good people in the community. And he still talks about it today. Inside our meeting rooms, we have these slogans on the wall, and it's people over profit, people first. It's just, I've never worked for a place that cared so much about their employees and the community. It's amazing. We strive to make people happy. We bend over backwards to make people happy. And it's just amazing to work for people like that.
Especially with the growth. I mean, most of the time the companies, they start off and it's easy to have that vision with 10, 15 employees, but you get up to that point and a lot of times that vision gets lost and you turn into the corporate world. And I know that's one of the reasons why I feel like our business partnership's been so successful, is because as you guys have grown, you've kept that locality and you haven't turned just into numbers. At Clearnetworx, we know everybody by name. You guys come down here, we go up there. MARK Construction is just not a number for you guys, and I think that speaks volumes on how you guys are ran and how you operate and why you're able to sustain good relationships.
Absolutely. I think one of the best things we do working together is let the experts do the expert jobs, trying not to micromanage. I've worked all over the country doing this kind of work, and there's a lot of companies that try to micromanage, hold your hand every step of the way. And, we recognize very early with our partnership that you guys are amazing. And there's no way we could tell you how to do your job better than you guys know how to. So we've never really had that, and vice versa. The amazing partnership and, just overall what you guys done in this valley is amazing. Your standpoint in the community, everybody knows who you guys are, and it's cool. You guys' relationship with inside the city has helped us, hugely to continue this project. Without you guys, I don't think we'd be half as far as where we are at today.
And I think that goes both ways, and that's what's cool about this relationship is MARK Construction has been a big part of your guys' growth in Mesa County, but really you guys have played a key role in MARK Construction's growth too, bringing this opportunity to us. I know a lot of the times when these big fiber to home projects go on that are on this size, you're going to get a big corporate company that operates nationwide because they do stuff for cheaper. But you guys saw the value in a local company that cared about the community, and I think that's what's really taken this off and made it successful. I know there's been other companies that have come in and they've ran into a lot more roadblocks, and it goes back to the relationships within the community, the relationships with the municipalities, and just the working relationship between the utility owner and the construction companies. I think when people see the fiber builds, it's very easy to say, oh, hey, they just show up and don't know what's going on. They just show up and put pipe in the ground and come pull the fiber, and pretty soon we have internet. But as you know better than anybody, there's so much more that goes into that process. I mean, on average, for you guys to open up a zone, how far ahead do you think you guys are working before we actually get to those zones to
A
start
lot of
construction?
these have been in the, cooker for a year or two. At Clearnetworx, that's one cool thing about us is we really do everything from start to finish. Applying for grants. Every year, you have federal and state grants. They give out money for some of these builds, rural areas, that kind of stuff. So a lot of these builds that we want to build, we're planning and designing 2, sometimes 3 years ahead. And then once that is approved and we start working through it, I would say overall process to get a good project started is 9 months to a year, through engineering. We have to engineer aerial poles, data collection. We have a lot of times issues to deal with. Like, for instance, we're working in Southwest Colorado, and there's a lot of archaeological artifacts down there. So we have to get all these studies, and somebody has to sign off saying we can dig in that area a year before we actually even plan to. So
That's crazy because, like I said, even from our standpoint, being the construction company, we never realized how much work actually went into it. A lot of times we were like, "Oh, just give us the plans. Why aren't you giving us the plans?" This process, especially here in Mesa County, has definitely opened our eyes to the forethought and the planning process, and really just the sheer man hours that go into planning something like this, from planning to execution. And that's been super cool for me and our team here to learn from you guys and see that process from start to finish, for sure.
And I think you get a better final product when you have your hands in every piece of the pie. You get to see the conception of a project, take it from an idea to execution. And so other companies that just get sent a plan and say, go get it done, they might not understand it as well and really know all the details. We have to go get ROEs, and we start meeting the public way before we ever show up to do it, and so we get to build relationships and that kind of stuff, and I think everything just rolls a lot more smoothly.
For sure, and I think the public plays a huge part in this. I know one of our biggest obstacles that we're trying to overcome right now is in 2021, Colorado 811 passed the law to where HOAs are utility owners for their irrigation lines, and this has been something that we've dealt with since 2021. And we've realized for a long time we thought, hey, these guys, they're just pushing back, and really, it's come down to they're not getting the information they need to know about these laws. I know we've met with a couple HOAs here recently, and they had no idea about it. So just learning the public and learning their stance on it has definitely opened our eyes, and now that's allowing us to get systems and processes in place to where we can get out ahead of that and try and overcome that going forward. That is a huge problem, and it makes it hard for us to navigate that as far as where do we push back and where does that liability fall. 90% of the time it's Clearnetworx taking the brunt for it, when really you guys don't have to.
Right.
So that, to me, that speaks volumes in how you guys operate as far as, you know what, we're going to leave this alone, we're going to get this fixed, we're going to take care of it so we can move on and keep everybody happy.
Absolutely. And then that goes right back to people over profit, building something for the community. It's not a dream of a man, and it's not for dollars in his bank account. It's building something great, jobs, great opportunities for people. For instance, like when COVID hit, a lot of schools shut down and all that stuff. We donated free internet for months on end to a lot of people that couldn't afford it, just so their kids can do online schooling. It's about the people, it's about the community and the opportunity that it creates.
Absolutely. You guys are definitely intertwined in the community. I know you guys do pop-up events all the time. We see your guys' banners and stuff everywhere at sponsorships, and that's really cool to see as well. You guys are a big company, but with you being local and your money going local and staying local, from the sponsorships to the employees that you guys have, is awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think about it in the scheme of things, you guys are responsible for feeding thousands of families across the state of Colorado. Not just in Mesa County, but You guys have projects going in Montrose County, Southwest Colorado, down in Durango, and you guys are going in New Mexico now too, right?
Yep. We started Farmington, New Mexico this year. We're also looking at multiple other towns in northern New Mexico. Yeah, it's unbelievable, and that's the coolest thing about my job is not only seeing good people having opportunities and growing, but for instance, one of my employees brought in his grandkids to I was probably 7 and 10 years old, to pitch me to come to the 4-H auction, and they're doing 4-H, and it's just so cool to put smiles on people's faces. I have employees that are just doing great in life, buying their dream houses, those kind of things, and that's what this creates, is just opportunity for good people and a great place to go, and it's amazing.
So building Mesa County, obviously Mesa County is very diverse as far as you have the downtown areas, the very populated areas, but there's a lot of outskirts that are rural that don't have much options for internet right now. So we're getting to the point where we're finishing up some of these more dense areas, and we're going to be getting out to the outskirts. Both sides present different challenges. The downtown areas, the high dense areas, we're dealing with more traffic, more utilities, higher population to communicate with. But the rural areas don't bring any easier challenges, just a different set of challenges. So I know one of the areas you guys have been looking into is the Redlands. That's a whole nother beast than anything we've dealt with as far as ground conditions, community.
Yeah.
So this is really when that communication comes into play, as far as really teaching people the process and what to expect. I know one of the biggest things we see from the construction side is understanding utility easements. I can't tell you how many times we've gotten the cops called on us saying that we're on private property, even to the extent where we've had guns pulled on us. And it goes back to just the understanding of things, and it's not anybody's fault other than just, this is why we're trying to step in and get that information out there to where they kind of understand the process as far as the utility easements, the right-of-ways, how you guys utilize those, when really it starts in the design process. As far as when you guys design areas, it starts off, hey, are the utility easements, are there right-of-ways, what are our options here? So how do you guys decipher that, what you guys are going to use, and how does that go into play on the early phases?
Absolutely. It goes back to really being able to touch every piece of this. And, we have teams built around it. We have our design team that's, identifying these, 2 years in advance, right-of-ways, different easements, what are our options to build a community. And a lot of times, sometimes there's multiple options, and then sometimes there's only one way to do it. And there's a ton of legwork that just goes into that pre-planning. And you're right, a lot of people don't know that there's a right-of-way running through the middle of their front yard or backyard, or nobody tells you that when you buy a house, and then we go out to do the work, and they're just confused. So I think the best thing about our partnership is just the amount of communication that we've been able to do with the community. Our end, there is multiple ways that we try to contact everybody. We try to reach out as far in advance, trying to reach out to HOAs, set up meetings. We've taken our construction managers to go meet with everybody if they have any questions about what's going on in their community and how things are looking. Everybody thinks construction, and a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouths, but I think the more we communicate and the more we just educate the public, the easier everything goes. And when it comes from the planning side, that's why we work so well together. You guys have so much knowledge and history inside of this valley. You guys can give us a heads up on ground conditions, or of, hey, this is actually easier than this way. And so our partnership, again, has been amazing because of that. Or, hey, we've worked in this subdivision and we need to be careful because of these things.
Yeah. I think that's been a huge piece. We've done a lot of work for multiple years in this valley, and just the knowledge that we've gained with ground conditions, specific situations of homeowners or utilities that don't get marked, just things like that have definitely enabled us to work as a team and come up with alternative, less destructive routes.
Absolutely.
Going back to the HOA meetings, that's something that we've kind of started recently. I think we've done 2 of them so far in the last 2 subdivisions we went into, and I think I'm excited to see those progress because I know you guys, when we do those, you guys send someone from your sales team, send someone from community outreach, as well as the construction side. And we've been sending someone from our construction side too to really kind of capture all sides and be able to answer any questions that they do have. The first two that we've had a lot of traffic through, and we've really noticed in those neighborhoods that just that upfront communication and being able to answer homeowners' questions before we get into the neighborhood have helped out tremendously. I know I went to one in Orchard Mesa a couple weeks ago, and we personally went over and looked at some of these people's properties and addressed their concerns. And they get this picture in their head of hearing construction and drills and going through my front yard, and being able to show them exactly what we're doing before we get there to help kind of ease their mind, I think is leaps and bounds better than what we've done in the past as far as figuring out a problem. You guys working as a team to figure out how we can kind of curve that to make it easier for everybody, including the public.
Absolutely. Yeah, communication's key. Not only these meetings, but, I know you guys help out a lot, but we go physically hang a little door hanger on everybody's doorknob that we work through. We try to do that a couple weeks in advance just to maybe give them a reminder of, hey, this is coming, and the more they're just aware of the situation, the smoother everything goes, and they start putting, companies' names and faces together and realize that we're not the bad guys, and we do care about their yard as much as they do, and that's the key. I think, I tell all my guys, like, I want you to treat this like this is your yard.
Yeah.
Leave it how you found it. So.
And I think Grand Junction and Montrose too definitely has an older population of retired, more of a retired community, and that brings its own challenges as far as the internet's not nearly as sought after in that age group. So, learning how to navigate that has been interesting to see. A lot of these neighborhoods, when you got the younger generations that are playing Xbox and streaming, they got 5 kids streaming Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff. They're excited for it.
Yeah.
But one other thing that we see is people don't understand the difference between the fiber and coax.
Absolutely.
So maybe you can kind of give us what benefits does the fiber have over the coax when it comes to streaming and speeds and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So, fiber is glass and light. So the coolest thing about, internet through fiber is it runs at the speed of light, which is unbelievable. You can click on Google and that can go from here to New Mexico and back in a millisecond, the second it takes to pop up. That's what it's done. And so the benefits of fiber for just the community is that you have your own fiber line. Inside of coax, everything was fed off a main feeder, but inside of fiber, you have your own fiber all the way to your house, and that doesn't affect, your actual speeds. I know a lot of people will recognize when they get off work and their old internet, 5, 6 o'clock, things seem to go slow. Netflix is loading, and that's because everybody was home and everybody was on the same line and everybody was pulling out of one, tub of water. With fiber, we have so much more ability to not do that. You have your own flow of water, nobody's tapping in to your flow of internet. So it creates stuff. And the technology in the future of fiber is unbelievable. We've just barely tapped into that. When I first started doing fiber 13 years ago, they were doing, you could put 8 homes on one fiber and you split that light in 8 ways. Now there's technology to do up to 200 homes off of one fiber and still produce those super high speeds and never see that lag in, everybody's internet. And it also helps just the overall community. I mean, communication. We run it to all schools. We're doing a school project right now. That's a huge one for us. Yep. The entire Mesa Valley School Project. all hospitals, 911, fire stations. Like, it's a huge form of how just the community relies on good communication.
Absolutely. And like you said, we're actually currently working on the school build, which is separate from the fiber to home project that we're doing here in Mesa County. And this is one that kind of got sprung onto us, and it's got its own set of challenges. But I think that speaks to the teamwork that we have on both sides, as far as very tight deadlines, very different set of problems. I mean, with a lot of this school build, we've been dealing with main artery roads, a lot of utilities, a lot of traffic, and so far it's been going really good, and it's been really cool to see the difference in shifts between the fiber build, which we're still actively doing, and going to the school build, and just that diversity that we have to move around and make that work as a team. Because at the end of the day, that's for the kids in the valley, and that's awesome. I know for you guys to do that, it's very tight deadlines, and that's something you guys took because you guys are so involved in the community. And like you said, we're talking about COVID, given the free internet, like this ensures that you guys have a say in making sure that the community is getting the best internet option that they can.
Absolutely. And it goes back to just partnership. And that's what we want people to know, is we're not here for, again, to make money. It's to create opportunity and just make this valley better for everybody, the kids, the older people. To go back to, the retirement home side of things, for instance, when we do a fiber install, we say we will hook up to 2 devices for you, and then we got to get down the road because we have schedules and we have things we have to do. We've created a program that's called White Glove that you can schedule, and we can come back and help people. And that's one thing that we've really seen in the older community, is it's almost like they're afraid of change. They don't know how to do it. So we've created our own department to go help people that don't understand it. Like, if a lady has 5 TVs, making sure that all 5 TVs hook up, and show her how to run her computer and help them with passwords. We're really here just to help everybody, and we're trying to find different ways to constantly do that and get better. And we identify one problem and go, okay, how can we resolve this? And it goes back to just where we all started as a small company, trying to create something cool and caring about the community.
Yeah, and it's never ending as far as changes. Obviously, the valley is growing. There's changes in technology all the time. There's changes in systems and processes as far as requirements that we have. So that's one of my favorite parts. Is it's never like, cool, we got this figured out, we're set, this is what we're doing. I mean, it changes day to day, sometimes minute to minute, as far as what we're required to do and how we're required to operate. So that's one of the really cool and rewarding parts from a construction standpoint, is seeing, like, yeah, we got a great team that, I mean, problem solving is one of our number one jobs. Whether it's problem solving in the community, problem solving with the municipalities, problem solving with the equipment we're running. But it changes every day. There's never a day that we show up and it's like, hey, I know exactly what I'm going into work for today. I'm going to do this, this, and this, because by 8 a.m., everything could be on fire, and we're trying to figure out how to move forward.
Yeah, we were just talking about, partnerships with the communities and what we've done. And one of the cool things that we've done inside of Montrose is kind of co-op with a couple different businesses inside of Montrose and talk to each other and see how we can help each other. And one of those opportunities we've created was the Stone House in Montrose. Is a wonderful restaurant. I'd say the best restaurant in town. But what happened was, the owner and I sat down and talked about how we can just work together to, one, just let everybody know about each other. And so one of the things we came up with was he offered a discount for everybody that works for our company, and just to bring people in the door and help. But we've came through with multiple different opportunities inside of Montrose. That's one cool thing about just the small community, is people know us. They see our trucks. They go, hey, how are you? And it's really cool.
Yeah, and I know one thing I've noticed with you guys with the community is anytime something comes up and you guys do something, you always have a local company. You get something from a local company, which I think is huge, and I love that. A small local company, and fighting through the last 10, 11 years. Anytime we do our meetings, you guys get lunch. You guys don't do chain restaurants. It's always local. I know breakfast burritos. I mean, we got a lot of good breakfast burrito places around here. You got Los J's. I know that seems to be the popular one to go to, but just little things like that. Food trucks. I know you guys have had a lot of local food trucks at your guys' events. Just seeing that from growing up here, growing up in Grand Junction, seeing a big company come in and do that, I think that's awesome. I mean, those are local families that rely on those relationships and that business, and for a big company for you guys to come in, providing better internet for them, but showing your support in local businesses, I think has been huge. And I think it definitely speaks volumes on your guys' goals and how you operate as a company.
Absolutely. I think, I met with the guys outside this morning and just told them they were doing a great job and that they need to go buy lunch on me. And I think it helps everybody, just the community and the guys, and it's awesome.
So I know we were talking about kind of both businesses growing over the last years. I mean, it's crazy for me to look back and see the progression. I mean, through this year, from January to June, we've averaged putting in about 20,000 feet a week on your guys' project, which, man, when we first started it, if we did 20,000 feet in 5 months, we were ecstatic.
Absolutely.
And same with your guys's. I mean, I don't, with 300 employees and that, I mean, as a company, how many installs are you guys getting on average in a week or a month, or what does that look like?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, like you said, to see where we've started and where we're at today. So starting out, I remember one of our largest goals in the first couple of years I was there was to surpass 3,000 subscribers. And so we actually had company meetings and chats that were called Install 3000, Currently, right now, we're averaging, I'd say, a little over 200 installs a week. We're hoping to be, hitting 1,000 installs a month here in the next month or two throughout the communities. And the amount of work that goes into that, is just insane. So for us to do 200, 220 installs a week, we have to be passing, this many thousand people. That equates to, we probably have to do 300 to 400 drops just to install 200 people in that week. So we go through our weekly meetings and talk about numbers and stuff, but it's unbelievable just the overall flow that we've found. And it seems like everything's smoothed out. It's kind of just running itself. We found amazing flow and how we work together and how to get stuff done.
And it's never ending. Like you said, from the installs, you go to this many drops, which equates to this many passings, which this many permits. It just keeps going.
Yeah, it's never ending. I feel like one of my jobs is just to constantly facilitate growth. How do we continue to build more towns, more everything? So I might spend 2-3 weeks going, okay, we need to grow this department, and how are we going to hit these numbers and do these things? And the second I get this one done, I have to go over here and go, okay, now it's time to fix this one. And it's just a constant battle. And one of the biggest things I think both of our companies are great at is looking into the future, the glass ball, and saying, okay, what's the next thing? How is this going to affect us, the community, that kind of stuff? And the more you can foresee the future and look into those things, the better off you are at planning and being prepared. And that's one of the biggest things for both of us is don't wait until you're failing to say something about it.
Yeah.
Get out ahead and say, hey, this may be potentially a problem in the future. Let's come up with a plan together and figure it out.
Yeah, and going from, back when you started with Clearnetworx and we were getting going with MARK Construction, you were looking at the day-to-day, making sure the day-to-day was going, and then it turns into the week-to-week and then month-to-month. And now I know at Clearnetworx, you guys are looking in years in advance with the planning and the design and stuff. And even for us from the construction standpoint, doing 20,000 feet a week, you got to have a lot of locates ahead. You got to have the permits in place. You got to have all that stuff in place. So it's crazy to see the vision from going from day to day, week to week, month to month, to looking into the next year, which I never would have thought we would get to this point as MARK Construction outside of the day-to-day operation. I was happy when I could see 2 or 3 days ahead, and now it's like man, we just finished up Q2. We got Q3 coming up, but what does Q4 and Q1 of 2027 look like?
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to see things evolve and just grow. And with that growth comes growth as a team, and that's one of the things that we are very fortunate with is we have a great team from the MARK Construction side and the Clearnetworx side. Those guys, they handle their stuff. There's still the guys in the day to day, there's still the guys in the week to week and month to month, but they've grown individually as well. And that's one of my favorite parts. I know our project managers, every single one of them when they started with MARK Construction, they had zero drilling experience. So seeing them from not even knowing how to run a hydrovac to now running these projects is awesome. And it's not even inside of work, but like you said, outside of work. Because I think if someone's going to grow within work, they have to grow outside of work too. And that's something that we preach all the time as far as you got to focus on yourself first. And that's something I think both companies do very well. And that's why we have that teamwork, because we do both have that same mentality when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think it's amazing between both of our companies and seeing the people that have moved up in the world. And what I love about it the most is we have companies that are full of just hardworking guys. Every single one of the guys that are now managers earned their position. We're not just looking for the random guy off the street that has a college education. They've worked through the flow of the company and they've earned it. And it's so cool and that's so rewarding to see those guys that have started out on the hydrovac, now managing stuff like Matty Boy, like see Matt, the meeting earlier today, like he's so well in place. But it took all that time and experience and knowledge to get him to what he is today. And that's one of the keys to our company is I feel like we have experts in the field because they've done the job. You don't have managers out there telling guys how to do stuff that haven't done it, and that's one of the keys.
I would say we've all been in that position where we show up to a job and the guy telling us what to do has never actually done it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's one of I know everyone in your upper management, they've been in the boots on the ground, and same with our team, they've been the boots in the ground. So there's not a situation that comes up or something that they're trying to do that they haven't done themselves. And I think it helps the field guys gain that respect because they know that they have done it. And I know for our guys, they still will do it. Yeah. I know there's times I have to pull them back saying, hey, don't do that. We got to make sure you're staying ahead, but it's just that work ethic that they've had and that drive that they have, which has been so cool to see grow in the last, I think they've been in their position for about 2 years, pretty much since we started Fruit and Palisade with you guys. We've really been able to move guys into management positions just because of the growth that we've been talking about. Yeah. But that's been 2.5 years now here in Mesa County. And from day one, saying, hey, this is what you're doing, to where they were asking questions, they were hungry to learn and prove that they were going to be successful at that, to now, if I ask, they'll tell me, hey, don't worry about it, we got it covered, and it's been a learning curve for me too, because I went from so hands-on to now, like, if I want information out of them, sometimes I'm like, hey, are you good? Do you need help here? And they'll just, we're good, man. Don't worry about it.
That's my favorite part about my job in general, is just seeing the growth of people.
Yeah.
It's just, that's so rewarding for me to see. I have some managers that started out as just a young kid, didn't know nothing, to just doing great things in the world, and he's happy in life, and married, and have kids. Like, I spend so much time with these guys. Some of them I see more than my wife and kids, and to just have relationships and grow that inside this community is unbelievable.
I think one cool thing about both companies is you have guys that work for you that have actually subbed for you as well, and vice versa. You have guys that sub for you that have actually worked for you, and we're in the same boat as far as we have some contractors that work for us that actually were employees of us previously. And I think that right there speaks to wanting to see people grow and stuff, because I've been a part of companies, and I'm sure, I know you have too, that if I was to go to my boss and say, hey, I want to start my own thing, the boss would be like, okay, well, good luck, see ya. Versus in both of our situations has been, man, if you do it, we'll supply the work for you, we'll help you. And that's just expanding that team even more. Now you got more companies out there that are seeing that growth and seeing that, I don't know what word I was looking there. Seeing that opportunity,
Absolutely.
taking that opportunity and just seeing them do that. And I know one thing I tell the guys is I'm never going to look down on anybody for wanting to better themselves. And if it's not at Mark Construction, then that's awesome. I will never hold a grudge against somebody for that. And I know we have Swanson Drilling that works for us. Adam's brother Alex, he's one of our project managers. Adam has worked for us in the past. And they started their own company and called and said, "Hey, do you have work for us?" Absolutely.
Okay.
And seeing that and seeing more people, and that's that many more families from Mesa County that are local that are really benefiting from this whole project going on with the economy and everything.
And that's what it boils down to is relationships,
Yep.
like with our employees, with the community, with the municipalities we have to deal with. The better relationship we can have with all of those, the smoother everything runs. And also, how many tools do you have in your toolbox? If somebody can help you do something, why would you kick them out to the curb and say, "I don't want to, deal with you ever again"? So, yeah, it's just how can you do something the best way possible and help everybody out at the same time?
And the egos. I mean, that's one thing. I know me and you have had a lot of conversations about that as far as if someone comes to me with an idea or someone comes to our team with an idea, I'm always open to it. I mean, little wins make big wins. And if we can get better ideas to make those little wins better, then that's one of the things we love working with you guys is I can come to you and say, "Hey, I really think we should try this and this is why." You're not going to be like, "Well, you work for us. We're doing it this way." It's like, "Hey, let's look at this. What can we do?"
Yeah.
And either you're going to explain to me the side that I'm not seeing from your guys' point of view, which helps me better understand what we need to do as a company to be better for you guys. Or maybe it's something I'm bringing that you guys don't understand or see our point of view. And so we can work through that as a team, ultimately make it run better and stronger.
Absolutely. I tell everybody, brand new employees, first day, you got a better way to do this? Let's talk about it. Let's do that. We just have goals, and whatever it takes to get to that goal, it doesn't matter how we do it. We're a team, we're all working together, and we're just trying to make things better. So it's unbelievable.
10 years, you see Clearnetworx. Where do you see Clearnetworx in 10 years?
Absolutely. I think it's amazing what we've done in, the last 5 or 6 years, just in general. Us just continuing to grow and not slowing down. Trying to, again, we're talking about the local community and local companies. So we really would love to build out, all of Western Colorado. This is our community. So that's priority number one to us is finishing out building Western Colorado. Like we said before, we're diving into northern New Mexico. But I see that just continuing to advance. I mean, we've talked about multiple different other states, Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Texas.
You're talking about all the Rocky states.
I keep telling everybody, can we go in some good dirt, like Kansas,
yeah.
Nebraska, But, that's one cool thing about us as a company, too, is we've learned how to do the hard stuff.
Absolutely.
And that gives us more opportunity, Everybody else that's building fiber internet is going and cherry picking the easy spots. We found a way to build places that are more difficult. So we're the experts in doing this. And so not only do we have an upper hand on all these other companies, but I think it just creates more opportunity for us to continue to grow and do the harder things. It's really the gold rush of fiber right now. Everybody's trying to build. And so the better I can get at building the hard spots, the more opportunity we're going to have to continue to grow. Like we've talked about Moab. Nobody's going to build Moab. It's a big rock and sand, but those people need internet too. And that's what we want to do is let everybody have the ability to better their community and their lives.
And that's cool. I think you look at it as from that standpoint as far as the hard areas. Everywhere that you're building, there's not a lot of options versus you go to the big cities where you can get more passings and get more signups and have that opportunity. You guys aren't jumping into those because that's not where it's needed the most,
Right.
I mean, Grand Junction, there's a couple other options, but I mean, Delta, Montrose, Paonia, Hotchkiss, they had fiber internet before Mesa County did.
Yeah.
And that, which is weird, but you guys are seeing those areas. I know you guys are building in Durango, Colorado,
Yeah.
which is an extremely challenging area.
Absolutely.
For multiple reasons, but ground conditions are not good.
Absolutely.
But no one else has wanted to do that. And you guys have been working up there. I know we've been a part of that build, and it wasn't fun. It beats everybody up, but you don't go in and get started and leave when it gets tough.
Absolutely. I think that's just, again, the opportunities. We've been awarded more grant money than any fiber internet company in the state last 2 years. And it's because of those things. We're not afraid of a challenge. We're not afraid to go do the hard things. And we want to help those communities. It's our local communities. We have employees in 20 different towns right now. It's crazy. So we want to help everybody. And it's awesome to see that, just as a team, what we can do and get through hard things.
That's awesome. If someone's watching this, they want to learn more or figure out if fiber's available in their area or what the plan is when they can get hooked up, how do they get in contact with you guys?
Absolutely. You could go to clearnetworx.com and you can do it multiple ways. We have a really cool team that has created an interactive map. So you can just type in your address. It'll show you if we have fiber in that area or if we have a plan to. You can actually sign up directly online. And it's pretty neat too. One thing we've done is if you sign up today online, you'll have somebody from our office calling you tomorrow saying, hey, you signed up, welcome to the team. Do you have any questions, concerns, anything you'd like to know? We'd like to welcome you to joining the club. But also we have a office in Montrose, South 3rd Street in Cascade. We have a great team of people willing to help. To the office there, we have multiple people willing to help you. It's just a, easy way to get hooked up. There's no really hoops you got to jump through.
I think the key there is you said someone from your office will call you.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get a 800 number from someone back east. You're going to get someone from your guys' office that calls you. You don't hire that out third party for your calls or anything. It's someone from your office.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about our company is you're going to be talking to somebody that lives down the road in the same community as you, that grew up in this, valley, this side of the state, and talk to them. And you're going to get a lot better information because of that.
Absolutely. I think we've all been on those phone calls where you just want to throw the phone through the wall.
We get more compliments just about that, exactly. How receptive we are to helping. If somebody calls in, and let's say something did go wrong. There is a complaint. They call into our office, talk to somebody at the front desk. That gets sent to the manager of that department, and within a couple of hours, we're out there fixing that issue. You call some of these other companies, you're talking about days, weeks, months before they decide to fix an issue or a concern, or if somebody's internet goes down.
And that's if they're even still there.
Right.
Because a lot of these companies, they come in, they don't have that home base. They don't have that presence there.
Absolutely.
They might be in Indiana by now. You never know.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty cool.